Okay. Wednesday, 10th of July, 2019. Looking at the various natal charts of Leo, Marley, Blattberg. But we're going to talk about Magi quads. Speaking of Magi quads, it says, in what realm or profession can a person be most successful? What specific and unusual talents does a person have? Okay, and then they explain it even. Okay. Our first book, Astrology Really Works, taught astrologers how to use super aspects to explain and predict the probability of super success. But super success aspects are somewhat limited in their ability to forecast the exact realm in which the person would most likely become successful and the nature of the success a person can achieve. See, that's where the quads, man, they just help you really, really focus in on exactly where to put the energy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It says, fortunately, but super aspects are somewhat limited in their ability to forecast the exact realm in which the person would most likely become successful and the nature of the success a person can achieve. Fortunately, this is precisely the area in which Magi quads can be of greatest help to astrologers. Magi quads will answer questions such as, will the child be able to sing like Luciano Pavarotti, or more like Mick Jagger, or like Madonna? So, that's all it is, you're getting the broad brushstrokes, okay? But when you get into those Magi quads, you really start to focus in on the exact realm. So even what we did for Jordan today, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, of course, I understand.
But it's kind of like showing like the broad overall emotional temperament.
Yeah.
But you get those Magi quads, if you start seeing where two midpoints conjunct, and there'll be quite a few of them, you'll know exactly. You'll know. Hey, there might be something in there, like you said. There could be something in there in his Magi quads. Like right here, we're talking about all the creative stuff, but in the Magi quads, it could emphasize the creative with the athletic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyway, all right, let's jump into Leo's chart. Leo, oh man, this guy's the philosopher. He's definitely it looks like he's karmically related to, he has to be because they both have Saturn and Pluto in Sagittarius. Yeah, because they're born so close together. Leo's dragon's tails in Sagittarius, his dragon's head's in Gemini. This is just me being instinctual, Russ. But when I looked at Leo's chart, I was just thinking, this guy's the born philosopher. That might be why he's so calm. He's like, I'm just going to take in all the information before I cry or do anything. Let me just size this situation up and kind of synthesize what's going on here.
Well, what's funny, like I said, we were talking earlier about how my theory is that this soul is Neil, who was my grandfather, who I never met, reincarnated, who essentially made a fortune that I'm, lucky enough to be kind of living off to a certain extent.
Well, Leo's got some super, super, super powerful aspects of that, there's no doubt. But just upon first impression, looking at Leo's chart, Leo's going to help pull his brother into his dragon's head in Cancer. Leo has Mercury and Mars conjunct in Cancer.
Right.
Just being around Leo is going to help pull Jordan into his dragon's head.
That makes sense.
But when I was looking at why I said born philosopher is because look how much energy Leo has on Gemini Sagittarius.
Yeah.
To me, Gemini Sagittarius is the axis of the mind. Because Gemini's dignified ruler is Mercury. Mercury means the rational and the logical, the peculiar, episodic, particular facts. Sagittarius has to be the opposite of that. If Gemini is very rational and logical and the facts, Sagittarius has to be the intuitive. Has to be the opposite of that. You could even apply that to nature. They say Sagittarius rules nature. Well, that makes sense because, you and I can have a conversation in a Gemini fashion. We can use Mercury for language and I can speak and you can parse the syntax and grammar of what I'm saying. It's very Gemini. It's very Mercury. It's very rational. When you go into nature, you can't talk that way to trees or the animals or to a dog. Can't do it. It's more of a Sagittarian communication. That's my opinion of why Sagittarius has a connection to nature. But if you say Gemini, rational, logical part of the mind, then Sagittarius is the intuitive. It's like Gemini is the part that gathers all the discrete, peculiar, particular, episodic facts, and Sagittarius is the part of the mind that connects the facts together and says, this is the meaning. This is what it means. Synthesizes it all together. That's why I say Sagittarius is philosophical. This is the meaning. Okay, well, Leo has a dragon's tail in Sagittarius, and he's not done there because Saturn conjuncts his dragon's tail.
Right.
So he's got that. Jordan's got his fanatical side, and this guy's got the same thing.
Yeah.
And he's a Sagittarius in the 7th house, which would suggest in past life he faced the world as a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Jordan might have had a little more stature. This guy has some stature, though, because he has Uranus and Aries in the 11th, in the 9th house of publishing. He's got Neptune in Aquarius, and he's got Chiron in the 10th house of public standing and honor. But Leo might have been a little more behind the scenes, you know? The power behind the throne, where Jordan was kind of out there a little more, it looks like.
Yeah.
But Leo his sun conjuncts his dragon's head in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. This is the eternal student, the eternal teacher. That's what Gemini is to me. Since it's ruled by Mercury, it just means knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. People with a dragon's tail in Sagittarius, they were the philosophers. They were the ones who kind of, maintained the orthodoxy. Look, this is the philosophical overview of the society, and we maintain it. Okay? But the dragon's head in Gemini says, well, new information is always coming in. You might have to revise that a little bit.
That's true.
Well, he's got his sun conjunct that. Saturn conjunct his dragon's tail in Sagittarius. Still going to have that philosophical side. But
Pluto's there as well, right?
Pluto's in Sagittarius, yeah.
And conjunct Saturn, which is conjunct the South Node.
No, Pluto's not conjunct Saturn. It looks that way. I'd have enough space to squeeze it in there, but Pluto and Saturn are not conjunct.
Okay.
Saturn's just conjunct the dragon's tail.
Okay.
That being said, now here's another thing too. Leo, the philosopher, I call the 6th house. Conventional astrology calls the 6th house the place of work and service, and they call the 12th house the place of dreams. I would flip the two. 12th house is the house of work and service. I call the 6th house the place of one's private cathedral, one's private monastery, where one retreats from the world to, compose one's thoughts and communicate with the divine. He's got the ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter, in that 6th house in Ophiuchus. This guy was contemplative, man.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm kind of going to detach from the world a little bit because I don't want to dilute the purity of my ideas. See, that might be maybe why he's a powerful guy, man. This guy could have been a warrior monk with some of his Mars aspects, but he might have been a monk nonetheless. But a warrior monk. Whereas, Jordan, he's not really carrying that. And that might be why Leo, I'm guessing, just one interpretation, but that might be one reason why he's a quieter baby.
He is really quiet.
Yeah, because he might have been more reflective and introspective, particularly with Jupiter and Ophiuchus in that 6th house, place of retreat and solitude, the ruler of his dragon's tail. And 7th house is how one faces the world. See? So this guy, once you get to know him, he's a Gemini. But he faces the world as a Sagittarius. Well, that dragon's tail is past life karmic residue. This guy might have been known as somebody who's very philosophical and kind of got a broad overview. Then once you get to know him, you find out, wow, dragon's head in Gemini, sun in Gemini, Venus in Gemini. This guy's a lover of knowledge. He's always reading, always acquiring knowledge.
Yeah, can see that.
So, then another thing, you have Mercury conjunct Mars. Jordan has Venus conjunct Mercury. This guy has Mercury conjunct Mars. Well, in his heliocentric, Jordan has Mercury talking to Mars. Mercury's the mind, and when it talks to Mars, Mars energizes it. So, The ruler of Cancer, where he has this Mercury-Mars conjunction, the ruler of Cancer is the moon. One of Cancer's exalted rulers is Jupiter, which he has in Ophiuchus. His moon in Virgo. Virgo's the energy of like the saint, or the very puritanical, kind of wants to be pure. That's where his moon is. Yeah. And it has something to do with that second house, which is the house of his values. Okay? But Cancer's dignified co-ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the dignified ruler of his dragon's tail, which is an Ophiuchus in that sixth house. I'm telling you, this guy, to me, just my intuition, doesn't mean it's right. Somebody else could read his chart, come up with something totally different. But you say quiet, and then I see this here, I'm just thinking, this guy was a philosopher. He was a thinker. He wasn't out there too concerned about, making acquaintances with the hoi polloi.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he probably was doing something for humanity, because the dignified co-ruler Sagittarius is Neptune, and he has Neptune in the ninth house of publishing. Yeah. And it's in Aquarius. Okay? So he might have been out there kind of preaching spiritual values. That's what he was all about. But it looks like there's a little more on a little bit of a local level. Probably just sitting in his monastery or his cathedral or whatever. And that being said, he's carrying a lot with him. It's a deep guy, and you see the deepness when you start looking at the aspects. He's probably just going to be looking at Jordan when Leo gets a little up there, like, man, my older brother's crazy.
Yeah, probably. Probably think he's funny.
Now that's kind of looking at the. One thing about Leo, Dragon's Head in Gemini with his sun, which is his basic style, who he is in Gemini, and then Venus in Gemini. This is another guy who's just going to love knowledge.
Yeah.
He's just going to love knowledge.
Yeah, I can see that.
Let's jump and look at these planetary aspects.
He'll probably be very healthy and be a good eater with the moon in the sixth house.
He's got Jupiter in the sixth house. His moon's in Virgo. He might be picky.
Yeah, I bet he will be. I have a feeling that he's going to be more like Stephanie in a way, in that way.
Hey, hold on, Russ. Let me pause this for a second. All right, so we were looking at Leo's black and white chart, talking about the big picture here. Mr. Philosopher with his moon in Virgo, he's probably concerned about being spiritually pure. Maybe that's why he's calm. Even though he's a powerhouse of energy too.
Yeah.
Now we're jumping over to let me load up his aspects. I've got Jordan still in here. Let's load Leo up here. Leo, Marley, Blattberg. There we go. This guy's like a Jordan Maxwell. Look at this. Sun talking to Jupiter. The degree of separation is less than 0.55. In longitude, helio or geocentric, anytime you see the angle is tight, 0.55 degree of separation or below, it's very significant. He has Sun talking to Jupiter. Not only that, vertically the Sun's talking to Jupiter. So it's horizontal and vertical. And this guy's got Leo's got a load of Sun aspects. This was an important, powerful dude, man. Sun talking to Venus, Sun talking to Jupiter, Sun talking to Saturn, Sun talking to Pluto, Sun parallel North Node, Sun conjunct North Node, Sun talking to Jupiter, 150-degree angle, Sun talking to Saturn, Sun talking to Neptune. That's a powerful guy when you have that many angles to the Sun, the person's basic will. It's just like John Lennon. John Lennon had Moon talking to Jupiter. This guy has Sun talking to Jupiter. That's somebody who will fight, but they'll only fight if it's the good fight. They don't just fight. They're not a shit kicker just to be a shit kicker. And when I say warrior monk, there is something to that. Because he has Mars making a 120-degree angle to Chiron. And Chiron means noteworthy and trustworthy. Well, where was he noteworthy and trustworthy? Mars talking to Chiron. It's a trine, which is powerful. The Magi say Mars talking to Chiron's the warrior.
And his Mercury conjunct Mars in Cancer.
Yeah, he's got Mars talking to Uranus, tremendous amount of energy, because Uranus means massive. Mars is energy. Mars is in Cancer. Mars talking to Chiron, and Uranus talks to Chiron. He has a Mars, Uranus, Chiron, multiple planet configuration. It's powerful as hell. His Jupiter talks to his north node, which means Jupiter's talking to the south node. Jupiter makes a 150-degree angle to the north node in Gemini, which means Jupiter, it always adds up to 180. Jupiter's making a semi-sextile 30-degree angle to his south node, Sagittarius. It's in that sixth house. This, I'm telling you, you're going to put him in the crib, he's not going to want to come out. You know, put me back. He's only been here 2 days.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but it might be like he has a totally different personality than Jordan.
He does. It's opposite.
He's got Jupiter in opposite you because Jupiter talks to his north and south node. It's on the axis of the mind. This guy's like, put me back in my little monastery. It's a crib right now. Don't worry. Someday I'm going to have Shangri-La. It's going to be in Tibet, and I'm going to be wearing a yellow dress, Dad. Eh? But for now, it's the crib where I'm still in diapers. Put me back. I want some quiet. I don't want to go out there and play with the riff-raff. This is why I say warrior monk.
Yeah,
because he's probably one of those monks where it's just like, you know, we're going to master everything, mind, body, and spirit. I'm saying that because Mars, Uranus, Mars, Chiron, Uranus, Chiron. But the emphasis here is really not on Mars like his brother.
Yeah.
It's more on the mind. But he's got the physical ability. Now, he's got Saturn. Yeah, he's got Saturn conjunct his south node. Oh, man, oh, man. Hold on. Let me jump over to his heliocentric angles. Mars talking to Saturn, Mars talking to Neptune, Mars talking to the Earth. You know, Neptune means longevity. When that talks to Mars, that means stamina. Mars talking to Saturn, you know, Saturn talking to Neptune, Mars, Saturn, Mars, Neptune, Saturn, Neptune. You know, Mars, Neptune, Saturn, multiple planet configuration, Mars talking to the Earth. This guy has a strong Mars. But when you look at that dragon's head and tail, just because it's my limits of my imagination, I just imagine warrior monk. It's like I'm not going to remain in a lotus position all day because I don't want my muscles to deteriorate, you know? And every now and then we've got these raiders coming over the border. We got to be able to defend the monastery.
Yeah.
This is just a guess, but this is kind of his energy. You can tell, just look at his angles. Look how many angles he has in the heliocentric. Look how many angles he has in the geocentric. You see that? You're talking about an old soul. Every damn angle's powerful. When you go over to the helio-latitudes, Venus talking to Jupiter. Venus is how he relates to himself and how he relates to the world. Venus is relationships. Venus talking to Jupiter, that's heavy. Venus talking to Saturn, that's heavy. Venus talking to Uranus, that's heavy. Venus talking to Pluto, that's heavy. Venus talking to the Earth. Venus talking to Jupiter, then Jupiter talks to Saturn, Jupiter talks to Uranus, Jupiter talks to Pluto, Venus talks to Pluto. This is just like a super multiple planet configuration in these helio-latitudes, man. It's like Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, they're all working together. You know how powerful that is?
Powerful, yeah.
It's extremely powerful. He spent 2 days just trying to analyze that and decipher that. Nobody has that. If Jupiter talking to Pluto, anything with a degrees of separation is 0.11 and below is considered super powerful. Jupiter talking to Pluto, 0.02.
Wow.
Jupiter talking to Uranus, 0.08.
Wow. That's crazy.
Venus talking to Saturn. People who have Venus talking to Saturn, it's not like they're like basically like Mr. Social.
No.
Because Saturn's like the old curmudgeonly old soul who's seen it all for the last 90 million years. I'm not impressed with your empire or your kingdom or your title. I've seen princes like you get assassinated left and right over the eons.
True.
It'll take me a while to warm up with you. I gotta know. You have discipline, you have wisdom, you're intelligent, Venus talking to Saturn.
Mm.
And not that he's antisocial. It's like this guy's just been around the block.
Yeah.
Uranus talking to Pluto. There's another one, 0.10.
Wow.
Saturn talking to Pluto, 0.11. They say Saturn talking to Pluto dominate whatever field they get into because Pluto means power.
Yeah.
Elevated levels of talent. It means powerful people. Talking to Saturn, mastery. They tend to dominate anything they're in. Saturn talks to the Earth. Saturn talks to Pluto. Oh my God, man. You can just see it. You look at like the visual representation of the helio chart. You can see all this. Look, everything's bunched up. Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune. It's all bunched up in one little corner, and it's all making angles to Mars, Venus, and Uranus on the opposite side. It's not like spread all over. It's like all bunched up and concentrated. That's very powerful. Hey, maybe Jordan's basically picking up something. Like, I think this guy's going to give me a run for my money and he could steal the show.
Yeah, I know. He's like, okay, it's competition for him. He's like, well.
Yeah, but if Leo would have been a normal baby, maybe Jordan wouldn't react that way.
Yeah, I know, you could be right.
Maybe he would have been like, this brother's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, he's intimidated.
Ain't to worry about. Yeah. I do my song and dance routine. Yeah, I get the breast, I get that attention. No big deal with this one. Now this one here, this one's like freaking the Dalai Lama. Uh-oh. Just look at the heliocentric, man.
Yeah.
It's all bunched up. Usually people's stuff's all spread out. That's like a multiple planet configuration upon multiple planet configuration. That's power, man. You always see in most charts, a couple 3 planet configuration. You don't see these 4 or 5 planet configurations too often. Well, Leo has it. It's in his vertical angles of his heliocentric chart. And then looking at the horizontal side, you've got Mercury conjunct Jupiter. They're both opposite Venus. Mercury conjunct Jupiter, it looks like they're both talking to Pluto. Venus is talking to Pluto. You got Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Pluto. Venus and Pluto's formidable. That's like a smaller version of Jupiter and Pluto. Jupiter and Pluto is the ultimate super aspect, okay, when it's an enhancement aspect. Well, Venus and Pluto's not too far behind that. He's got Mercury conjunct, this is in the helio horizontal, Mercury conjunct Jupiter, which enhances his mentals. Okay? He's going to be able to give his brother a run for the money mentally. Because he's a deep dude. He's got a dragon's head and tail in the axis of the mind, Gemini and Sagittarius. Let's see. Let me make sure this is all working right. Make sure I got this right. We've got Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto, Jupiter, Pluto. We've got Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter. Yeah, he's got a 4-planet configuration with 2 of the most beneficial planets, Venus and Jupiter. Mercury's talking to Pluto. You got a 4-planet configuration here involving Venus, Pluto, Mercury, and Jupiter. That's deadly. I mean, mentally, mentally, this guy's just on another level.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't go to kindergarten, takes an IQ test, and they say he's got brain damage, his IQ's 20. I guess I got to give you $250 back if that's the case. But, I'm joking there, Russ. Don't sound like you thought that was funny.
No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm not worried about his intelligence. I think he's really smart.
That's devastating, man. And here's another thing, too. There's a thing called enhancement dominance. Normally, Venus, opposition, Jupiter, Mercury, opposition, they say, is turbulent. Now, what offsets that is, in a personal chart, that doesn't apply. Okay? Everything's a gift, whether it's a square, there is really no turbulence in a personal chart. Turbulence in squares comes in when you're doing transits. But that even being said, though, if you do have a turbulent aspect, the enhancement aspect is Venus making a 150-degree angle to Pluto. Well, that enhancement aspect makes the opposition positive. The opposition would have been positive anyway because it's a personal chart. But that's really powerful four-planet configuration, man. Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto, Venus. Then, let's see, Saturn conjunct the Earth. You know, the Earth is him and everybody else he has a relationship with on. So he's Saturn, you know. Saturn means time. Means whatever he's going to do is going to take time. He's on the long, slow path. That's okay. But I think Kurt Cobain has Saturn talking to something. My memory might be wrong there. Let me double check. Let me see if I'm right. And Kurt Cobain did what he did by the time he was 24, 25. Sometimes Saturn, you know. Let me see here, Kurt Cobain. Remember the guy from Nirvana? His Saturn was talking to the Earth. So I say time, but in Kurt Cobain, he made it when he was young, whatever making it means.
Yeah. But like you say, it could just be like mastery and kind of like seriousness.
Yep.
You know? Doesn't have to be.
Another thing too, when Saturn's talking to the Sun, that's formidable will, even the Earth, because Saturn don't budge. It's got to be a damn good reason for Saturn to budge. Saturn's talking to his Earth, you know, no slouch. Let's see here. Saturn talks to the Earth. Yeah, man. This is another multiple planet configuration. You got Saturn talking to the Earth. Saturn talks to Mars. Yeah. Look, he's got a very symmetrical pattern. He's got Saturn talking to the Earth. They're making a 150-degree angle to Mars. Okay? Mars is making you've got an equilateral triangle here involving Neptune, Saturn, Earth, and Mars. There's another, that symmetry brings power. It's all with his Mars. This heliocentric is no joke. That's a very powerful Mars. Neptune, Saturn, and, these planets are even making angles to Jupiter and Mercury. Let me see. God almighty, man. Yeah, Pluto's involved there. It's kind of hard to see everything when they get scrunched up like that. But you can break it down more specifically. But the main thing to focus on, let's see, Earth, Saturn, Neptune. Let's make sure they're talking together. Earth, Saturn, Neptune. Saturn, Earth, conjunct. Saturn's talking to Neptune. Yep, Saturn, Neptune, Saturn, Earth, Earth, Neptune. So they're all working together. Mars, Saturn, Mars, Neptune, Mars, Earth. Yeah. He's got a symmetrical pattern there. Saturn, Earth, Neptune, and Mars. You know, Neptune means longevity. His Mars might not necessarily kind of reflect in like super fast because Saturn's involved with it. But with Neptune and Saturn talking to that Mars and the Earth talking to it, that's a lot of directed, focused energy. That's his helio. Let's go over to his Earth chart. Jesus, look at this sun, man. Sun, I'm looking at the declination. It's a vertical. Sun, Venus, Sun, Jupiter. Sun, Saturn. My God. Another thing in his vertical angles, his sun is at 22.5. I think it's 21 degrees. I forget exactly. But usually anything that's touching that top line in the hexagon in the middle or touching the bottom means powerful. It's called like enhancement by declination. Let me see what the degree is on that. Hold on. In his geocentric, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. Jupiter's at 22.2, Pluto's at 22.0, Saturn's at 22.2.
Wow.
And they're all talking to each other.
Wow. That's wild.
Well, there might be something to your theory. Yeah, look, it's a 3-planet, multiple planet configuration. Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Pluto. All enhanced by extreme declination. Saturn, Pluto, in the geocentric declinations, anything at 0.22 and below is considered very tight. Jupiter, Saturn, 0.22. Jupiter, Pluto. The most powerful enhancement angle. Parallel at 0.18. Saturn talking to Pluto, 0.4. This guy means business.
Yeah, I know.
So not only are the angles tight, they're at extreme declination.
That's interesting. Little super skull.
Sun talking to Pluto, 0.40. Okay, well that's not below 22, but it doesn't matter. Sun talking to Pluto, Sun talking to Saturn, Saturn talking to Pluto, Sun talking to Jupiter. Let me see if this shows here. Oh man, let's see here. God, they didn't show the angles. Sun talking to Pluto, Sun talking to Jupiter, Jupiter talking to Pluto. Yeah, this is like multiple planet configuration. They're not drawing the angles here. I guess they figure you're going to figure it out yourself. But Sun's talking to Pluto, Sun's talking to Jupiter, Sun's talking to Saturn. You got Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Sun, multiple planet configuration. Sun, Jupiter, Sun, Saturn, Sun, Pluto. Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Pluto. They're all talking together. It's a 4-planet, multiple planet configuration. Everything at extreme declination. You know? Like I said, little Jordan's soul might have been like, I thought I was the shit. I gotta get rid of the competition.
Yeah.
Damn. Sun, Jupiter, Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn, Sun, Pluto, Jupiter, Pluto. Yeah. That's what it is. Another 4-planet, multiple planet configuration at extreme declination. It doesn't end there. Then you go over to the vertical side. Anything 0.55 and below. Sun talking to Jupiter, 0.33. Sun talking to Saturn. Jupiter talks to Saturn. Sun talking to Neptune. Jupiter talks to Neptune. Saturn talks to Neptune. Another 4-planet multiple configuration. That's kind of rare, Russ, to see this many 4-planet multiple planet configurations.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
Yep, there it is. Okay, here's Sun talking to Saturn. Saturn talks to Jupiter. Jupiter talks to the Sun. Yep. And then the Sun talks to Neptune, making a trine with his north node. So that's north node, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, all working together. He has Jupiter talking to Neptune. Creativity. But he's got Sun talking to Neptune. You know, Neptune's creativity in the artist. This guy, see, he doesn't have Mercury talking to Neptune like Jordan does. This guy's creative, but He might be a little more on the serious side.
Yeah.
Neptune talks to his North Node. His North Node's in Gemini. My God, man. He's the kind of guy, he might say, you know what, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go get a PhD in philosophy and comparative religion. You just don't know what he's going to do with this. And they end up making him the dean. Just because of the power. I don't know if he's going to be using his energy physically as he's got it though, man. Like I said, warrior monk.
Yeah.
But here's another one when it comes to the realm of ideas. He has Mercury making a trine to Chiron. Mercury talking to Uranus. Uranus talking to Chiron. His Mercury's talking to Mars and Cancer.
Got a lot going on, Leo. It's crazy. Wow.
Mercury talking to Chiron, and his Chiron's in Pisces in the 10th house. Once again, spiritual. I'll tell you one thing. I think he's going to like Jordan Maxwell.
Yeah.
He's going to like listening to that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Russ. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's all I'm going to say today about Leo.
Thank you, Joey. It's funny.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. But, like you said, your idea who this might actually be, that's very possible with this kind of power.
It's a theory. I mean, I don't fucking know. Whatever. But it would make sense. I don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna leave that at that. Let me save his recording.
Thank you.